What did you guys cover at the beginning? Because I had to come in.
Equipment.
Just equipment. I was what was the guy's name, the head technician?
Andrew or
Yeah.
John?
I think Andrew. He's kind of off.
Andrew, yep.
Okay, so I was thinking, is it okay if I just like get a meeting with him? Because
Totally.
he's like the expert of that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
You're
he
more than
could,
welcome
give
to.
me a crash course on all the equipment.
Yeah, I can give you his phone number. Cool, guys. So, meeting today. This is going to be, like, I've already asked you, Matt, but now I'm going to ask you, Jay. Is it okay if I'm intense?
Sure.
Like, absolutely crazy. Like, I'm going to yell. Is that all right with you guys?
Are you gonna yell at me?
I'm not going to yell at you, but here's
Okay.
here's the whole point of this. So, this is a meeting that I kind of created about 3 or 4 years ago. And because what I had done is I tried to figure out, like, what is the key? You know, like, what is it that, because I've trained a lot of guys that were top first years. I've trained a lot of guys that were top managers. I myself have been a top manager. I've listened to a lot of things. And I've tried to figure out, like, what is it that everybody has in common that makes them incredibly successful at the job. And so I looked into it, and I tried to figure it out, and I found it, which is cool. And I figured, and that's what it works better in twos, just because what I'm going to cover today, like, here's what I'll tell you, Matt, like this is the most important.
Okay.
Literally, better than any meeting Peter will ever do, better than any training I'll ever do in there, literally better than the entire weekend in Vegas. Like, what I'm going to talk to you today, by far the most important thing in the summer.
Awesome.
And if you pay attention better and do it better than Jay does, you're going to kick his ass.
Okay.
You need to know that.
Okay.
And if he does it better than you, he's going to kick your ass.
Okay.
And I know you guys don't know each other that well. But
We're pals.
Your pals? Well, he's going to kick your butt if he grabs this information better than you do. So I'd recommend having a notebook out and having a lot of notes. Jay, there's a reason I had you in here with 2 people.
Okay.
Do you know why?
No.
Because if you take better notes than Matt, you're going to kick his ass this summer.
Okay.
If you don't, he's going to kick your butt. Like, grind it into the ground and laugh at you. And then he'll get hot chicks and you'll get none.
I'm not gonna laugh at him. Come on
Seriously.
now.
No, you will.
No.
Because this is the point of it. This is freaking, like, I don't know if you guys are biblical people or not. Regardless of that, you've heard of these things called the 10 Commandments, correct?
Yes.
Do you remember them all?
No.
No, nobody does. It's way too confusing. There's way too many rules. And that's kind of like the way this summer works, is there's all these different rules, like say this at a door and do this for equipment, and blah, 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 blah. If you know anything about Bible history, in the New Testament, God gives one commandment. It's way easier. Do you know what it is?
Treat others like you would like to be treated.
Boom. Just treat other people the way you want to be treated. And everybody's like, oh, we can do that. So this is literally your one freaking commandment for this job. This is it. It's the blueprint. Like, this is how to freaking kick ass at this job. Like, we can write blueprint, whatever you want to write. Like this, whoever does this the best. I guarantee you, I promise 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt, the number one first year in our company this year will not be the best salesperson. They will not. They will not be the best salesperson. They'll be whoever does what I'm telling you right now the best. Max did this better than anybody else last summer. A lot of people ask, like, why was Max successful? This is why he was successful. I promise. He doesn't even know it, but it's why he was successful. So the one commandment, your one rule, the one thing we're going to talk about today, it's one word: schedule. Schedule. And I am not going to talk about anything technical today. Like, nothing at all. We're not going to cover anything technical. Every question I ask, I want you guys to feel stupid. Are you okay feeling stupid? Are you okay feeling stupid?
Yeah,
like,
stupid all the time.
I'm going to ask you questions, and I want you guys just to answer.
Okay.
Just answer the questions the way I'm asking them, and I'm going to tell you you're wrong. And you're going to be wrong because it's going to change the way you look at this job, and nothing is going to be technical today. It's all going to be emotional.
Okay.
Fair enough? So schedule, specifically in parentheses, the emotional part of it. Like the emotional part of a schedule. So there are 3 different things that we can control in this job. What are those 3 things?
Emotional or effort.
Yep, your effort.
How prepared you are, knowledge.
Yes, but I'm talking more specifically during the day.
Execution, like.
That goes under effort.
I have this written down. Okay.
Just 3 things. There's only 3 things you can control. You can't control who buys from you. You can't control if someone's rude to you. You can control only 3 things.
So your emotions, your effort, and God, I know the last one, dude.
I'll give you 2 different words to use those, but yes, your effort, right, or your skill, like what you're putting into the job, your attitude, that would be your emotions, and there's one other thing that you can control. It's probably the easiest to control.
Schedule? No, that would be
Well, kind of, but that's technical, right? But it's time, right? Your time on doors, your hours, your effort, and your attitude. Those are the only 3 things you can control. So we're going to talk about the emotional side of those 3 things.
Okay.
So, let's talk about time. first. Let's talk about time. So, to have a good summer, how many hours do we need to work each day?
8 to 10.
Okay, you said 8 to 10?
I'd agree with that.
8 to 10?
I'm trying to think. I know we'll do like our little rally around noon, and then
So our goal is 8, but no matter what, how many hours do we have to do?
8.
No matter what.
Oh, it's like the bare minimum?
Bare minimum.
It's 6.
Bare minimum is 6, but in our group, to have a good summer, what are we going to do? No matter what.
Right.
8 to 10.
8's not always possible. What's between 8 and 6?
7.
10.
There you go. So write that down. To have a good summer, no matter what, 7 hours a day, and then 10 on Saturday. To have a good summer, no freaking matter what, 7 hours a day. Unconditionally.
And 10 on Saturday.
And 10 on Saturday. Now, do you guys want to have good summers?
I want to have a great summer.
Oh, great summer. Okay, what kind of summer you want to have, Jay?
Great summer.
Okay, now do I have permission to get a little crazy?
Get crazy, man.
Okay, how many hours do you need to freaking work in this job if you're going to have an incredible, amazing, outstanding, above par, kick everybody's ass kind of summer? How many hours? You said 7 for a good summer. How many for an incredible summer?
I'd add 2 hours to each
So
one.
10 and 9 or 12? Why?
Because
It's a numbers game.
Cool, that's technical. Wrong answer. Why?
as you keep practicing getting shut down until now will give you
That's
a tougher
technical.
skin.
Sorry. That's more of like the attitude kind of thing.
Emotional. Oh, so
We're talking about the
time.
emotional side of schedule, the emotional side of time. I say 7 hours is a good summer.
The emotional side of time.
What is an incredible summer? What's the time you have to work, no matter what, to have an incredible summer? If 7 hours is good, what's incredible?
Anything more than that?
Okay, be more specific.
Are we looking for a number here?
I want a number. I want an
You want
amount of
a
time.
tangible number.
An amount of time, and it's not 8 hours. It's not 9 hours. It's
10 to 12.
no, not 10 hours.
What if it's 24 hours a day?
Nope, that's not what I'm talking about. So on the door is knocking. How many hours? No matter what. How many hours? We said 7 for a good summer. How many for a great, incredible, on a fantastic, fucking amazing summer?
10.
No, that's technical because you're thinking about adding 3 hours times the whole summer is an extra of like 4 days. I agree, but that's not the answer.
Shit.
This is why people fail. They don't understand this concept. 7 hours. 7 hours. Okay, have you guys ever gone to the gym before?
So maybe 7 efficient hours?
Oh, you almost had it, but you didn't say the right word. How about this? You ever gone to the gym and be like, I'm going to be at the gym for 2 hours?
Yeah, but
And then your
you
legs-
work out in half an hour. You can sell more accounts in 6 hours than somebody does in 8.
We're not there yet.
7
We're
hours
not
at
there yet.
100% effort?
So close. How about this? So you've been to the gym, right?
Right.
You've been to the gym, you're like, I'm going to work out for an hour. And at 55 minutes, your legs hurt and you're done. And you're like, well, it's been an hour. How many times do you do that? Think about it. Has it been an hour? At 55 minutes, has it been an hour?
No.
Oh, come on. How about when class goes till 3 o'clock and it's like 2:55? Like, is class pretty
hell
much
yeah.
over?
Class is done.
Class starts at 3. You're there like
Class is done.
you're there like 3:03, right? What's the problem with 7? What's the problem with saying 7 hours?
It's only 7 hours is only good.
Okay, well, yes. So what's better than 7 hours?
8 hours.
10. Because it's
Okay, let me rephrase the question, you guys. So let's say we start at 1 o'clock.
okay.
We start knocking at 1. You run to your first door, you knock at 1 o'clock, and it's raining, and it's freaking pouring, and a dog just bit you, and someone yelled at you, and it freaking sucks. And it's 7:59. Is that 7 hours? Is it that day? Is it
That day.
that day? You're like, yeah, it's been 7 hours, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's been 7 hours.
So
yeah.
what is better than 7 hours? What is just incrementally better than 7 hours?
7 hours and 5 minutes.
7 hours and 1 minute.
7 freaking out. Write it down. 7 hours and 1 minute unconditionally. What does unconditionally mean?
All the time.
All the time, no matter what. Unconditionally means no matter what. You have to be emotionally, unconditionally committed to 7 hours and 1 minute every single day. Because can you trick your brain into thinking that 7:59 is 7 hours and 1 minute?
Yeah.
No, you can't. Think
No.
how specific that is, right? That's like saying I'm going to run 3.1 miles instead of 3 miles. Because 3 miles is like, well, it's kind of 3 miles, right? What time is it right now? Look at my watch. Don't look at your watch. Look at my watch. What time is it?
10:20.
What's that?
10:20.
10:20?
28.
28? Cool. It's 10:27. You guys, our minds, we round everything in America. We just round everything. And so 7:01 is a very specific time. Unconditionally, no matter what, 7 hours and 1 minute.
It's like running across the finish line instead of slowing down.
Exactly. You freaking blow through that finish line. And you have to, because what's going to happen this summer is you're going to have a day where you've worked 6 hours, 55 minutes, and 32 seconds, and you want to freaking quit and call it a day. What does the loser do?
Goes
Pack
through.
up, go home.
Goes.
Pack up and go home. Shit, it's been 7 hours, whatever. I'll just put that on a report. What does the champion do no matter what?
Goes and knocks on another door.
You knock on another door. If it's been 7 hours or 6 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds, and you leave the door, you look at your watch, and it doesn't say 7:01 or 8:01 yet, what do you have to do?
Knock on another door.
Keep
Knock
going.
on another door.
Just keep going.
How crazy is that? It's pretty simple, isn't it?
I was gonna say it's not that crazy.
But it's not easy.
No.
It's very simple, but it's not easy. Very, very simple, but it's not easy. So I want to use an analogy to explain this a little bit more. So like let's go fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we're gonna go fishing. You guys both been fishing?
Of course.
No, you've never been fishing? That's hilarious. Okay, well, you know what fishing
Haven't
is,
been
right?
fishing?
You know what fishing is?
I know what fishing is.
All right,
You're going fishing. You're going fishing this
So
summer.
we're going fishing. Okay, we're going fishing, and there's a fishing tournament. Let's say there's a fishing tournament. You're gonna go fishing. You're gonna go fishing. I'm gonna go fishing. The official fish time for that day is you get 7 hours. That's how long you can fish. 7 hours. Let's say 7 hours and 1 minute. Right, and you guys are just for example. So let's say Jay, you're like unconditionally committed. No matter what, I'm gonna fish for 7 hours and 1 minute or more. Like that's, I can fish for 10 hours sometimes. I can fish for 8, but no matter what, I'm doing 7 hours and 1 minute. And you say, man, I'm also gonna do 7 hours and 1 minute. And I'm like, guys, I got a wife. Like I gotta go home. Like I'll do my best to get in 7 hours. I'll do my best, but I don't know. Just it depends. I'll do my best. And we go out the first day fishing, and I get a late start. I roll out of bed late, or I get dropped off in my boat, so to speak, and I decide to eat a Snickers bar or read a little magazine on how to fish better or something like that, because I think it's going to make me mentally better at fishing. And I only fish for 6 hours, and you guys fish for over 7 hours. 7 hours and 1 minute bare minimum. Is it possible that I could catch more fish?
Is it possible
Yes.
if you're a better fisherman?
Yes.
It's cool. Why? Yeah, why? So I'm a better fisherman. Why else?
Been training.
Been training. Why else?
Probably in an area where there's more fish.
Yeah, there's more fish. Like a school just got out. They're hungry. It's snack time.
You got lucky. Yeah.
I got lucky. I got a smelly worm. Like I don't know, but I'm gonna freaking catch more fish that day. Now over the course
That
of a,
day, yeah.
let's call it a 90-day tournament, just to give a random number, or a 108-day tournament, depending. So it's this tournament, right? Who's gonna catch more fish?
Us, 'cause
Every single freaking time. Why?
we'll have 90 hours on you.
It's consistent.
That's technical. That's technical. Because think about this. What if I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do 7 hours. I'll do 7 hours. Cool. And I go home early once. What am I likely to do again?
Go
Go home early again.
And then what does it become?
I have it.
And then what happens to my my fishing trip?
It goes to shit.
It goes to shit. You guys, do you understand this? Like, this is why 7:01 is different than 7 hours. Because if you say 7:01, no matter freaking what, again, 90% of the people I teach this to will not do it.
Why?
Because it's not easy. It's very simple, but it's not easy. Because you get out there, you get dropped off. What if you have your best day? You have your best day, and it's Saturday. It's Saturday night. It's the best day of your summer. You've had 3 sales. You look down at your watch, and you've been working for, I don't know, on Saturday, 10 hours exactly. Come on.
One more house.
Yeah,
Let's
but
go.
come on. You just had your best week. Like, your car group is waiting for you because they're a bunch of pussies, and they got done early. Do you get why we make these rationalizations in our brain?
Yeah.
And people don't do it. And I can tell you honestly.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Don't you drive us anywhere?
I do drive us, and guess how long I'm going to work?
No, I'm just saying.
7-1.
7 hours and 1 minute.
Yes, just who gives a shit what we think?
Yeah, I know, but you can go sit on a park bench. Like, your
Okay.
time is up. You're done. You're done.
I've
I don't
learned
have
that
any.
lesson from people who have failed doing that shit. So
I don't have any houses left in my area. Like, I've already talked to everybody in my area, Peter. Like, hey, Peter, Jake, I've already talked to everybody, and I still have an hour left. So what am I supposed to do? What are you supposed to do?
You can go to another area.
Go find another freaking house. Go re-knock a door. I don't care. Freaking work for 7 hours and 1 minute. Because if you stop early once, what are you more likely to do?
Do it again.
Yeah.
And then it becomes,
Habit.
in your entire summer,
Shit.
goes to shit. Like, just understand that. Okay, and here's what I always say. If I don't do it once, I can't do it twice, and it'll never become a habit. If I don't do it once, I can't do it twice, it'll never become a habit. And that is my mantra. Because do you think there are times last summer where I wanted to quit early?
Yes.
Do you think there are times where I wanted to start late?
Yes.
Do you think there are times where I wanted to go visit my girlfriend because she was freaking 2 blocks away from where I was knocking?
Yes.
Do you guys get that? Like, you're not going to have that distraction. That was tough. But I told myself in my head, I said, if I don't do it once, I can't do it twice. And it will never become a habit. So that's time. And we just spent a lot of time talking about time. Guess what percentage of your income this summer is dependent on the hours you work?
50%.
80.
Cool. It's like 10.
Okay, never mind.
So I just spent 20 minutes talking about 10%
Oh,
your
out
summer.
of all these three?
Out of all the three.
Oh.
The time on doors
Never mind.
is about 10% of your income this summer. Just being committed to that unconditionally no matter what. Because there's 3 different things we can control, right? We've got our time. What's the second thing we control? Effort. Effort and acquired skills. That's the next thing I want you to write down. Effort and acquired skill. Like how good you're becoming at this job.
To draw a parallel, man,
Yeah.
we talk about work being physical, mental, or intellectual, emotional. It's the exact same thing for these three.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Peter.
So effort
right.
and skills.
Effort and skills. So effort and acquired skills. So, how do I want to talk about this? Okay. So let's go fishing. Cool. We're gonna go
Yeah,
fishing.
let's do it, man.
We're gonna stay in the boat.
Okay.
So let's say the 3 of us go out fishing and reach in boats. We're all side by side. We're hanging out, and I'm committed no matter what to casting my line. Actually, you are, Jay. You're committed no matter what. You're gonna cast your line 25 times a day, bare
No
minimum.
idea what that is.
No, that's like throwing the line out. into
Putting
the
your
water.
hook in the water.
Putting your hook in the water. So that's all right. So you're casting your line 25 times no matter what. And you're casting, this is actually probably better that you don't know. So you're casting and you're going to say, I'm going to cast my line 25 times no matter what. And I'm like, I'm going to cast until I catch a fish. So I only cast like 15 times and then I catch a fish. You guys each go 25 times, you don't catch shit.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. Is it possible in any given day that I could catch more fish than you?
No.
Why?
Like we said before, you could get lucky. You could be better than me. You could know more than me.
I'm definitely better than you, right?
Right.
If I'm catching 1 in 15 casts. Because have you ever cast a rod before? No. Have you ever knocked on a door before for this?
No.
No. Have you?
No.
No. So your first like 25 casts, you might catch yourself on the back of your neck. You might like throw it up in a tree. You might throw your entire rod in the water. You might fall out of the boat. Like, I don't know. It could be disastrous. Peter, could your first couple casts be disastrous in this job?
Likely to be horrendous.
Okay? So you understand it's going to suck. But if you practice and you're dedicated to getting better and better and better and better and better every single cast over the course of a 90-day tournament, who's going to catch more fish?
Where?
Why?
Because we put in the effort.
You're putting in the effort. And if you do this, just look at the straight numbers. And it's not, I'm going to get to the emotional part in a second, but if you're doing 25 and I'm doing 10 a day, times 90 days, right, that's 900 casts. This person is going to do, I can't even do the math on that fast, but that's going to be close to 2,000 plus casts. Over 2,000 casts. Who's going to be better at casting a rod at the end of the summer? This guy. Every single
Person
time.
who's done it the most.
So let's not talk about the technical side about it. What about the 25? What makes that emotional? Because will you hit this number every day? If we're talking about prospects, right? We're talking about finding a prospect on doors. If your aim is 25 every day and we're working 7 hours minimum and 1 minute per every single day, break that down. How many do we need to talk to every hour?
For 7 or 4?
3.5, 4.
So 3, 4. I think it's one more 4. Right? Did I do that right?
So 12 times plus 9.
12 plus 9 is 21. No. 4 times, oh, that's only 6 numbers though. There we go. This is what we're aiming for. 3 or 4 every single hour. Why is that emotional? 3 or 4 prospects every single hour.
Okay, like prospects, like people that are interested, or just doors we're knocking on.
You don't know what a prospect is? We'll get there, I promise.
Okay.
So prospects, finding 3 people at home that can make a decision to buy your products. Finding 3 every single hour, 3 or 4 every hour. Why is that emotional?
I feel like if you don't get to that, you get kind of bummed out, or maybe.
You should. You should be emotionally freaking tied to this number. You should be pissed off if you don't find 3 people. Think about this. If you're at 2 people and you've got 1 minute left in your goal period in that hour, and you've only found 2 homeowners, what does the champion do?
Keeps going until he finds a third?
Not only keeps going, he fucking sprints, right? That's emotional. You guys, when you see guys like me like running to a house because I got to make sure I find my 3rd prospect, or you're following me and I'm like, dude, I can't believe it. Like, what if you do this? Prospect, sale. Guess, and then you get out of the house and you've got you're in your next hour right here. How many people do you think are not as motivated to go find 3 prospects after that sale?
A lot.
90%. I do this. I go, well, I'm at 0 again. Got to go find 3.
Oh, okay.
I've got to find 3. I've got to find 3. Sometimes I'll find a 4th, and that's my bonus one. But I'm aiming for 3 every single hour. I got to find 3 every
So it's
single
like
hour.
give yourself a clean slate.
Give yourself
And
a
it's
clean.
also if you get shut down like in a bad way or something, it's like alright, whatever, start fresh.
Start fresh. What if I go in this period and I get none in that period? First of all, is that kind of frustrating?
Yeah.
I just wasted an hour. I didn't find anybody, but I was searching and I was striving and I was fired up and I was freaking pushing for it and I was like, get me a prospect. And all of a sudden that hour's over and I'm like, damn it, I didn't find any. What do?
Keep going.
Shake it off, relax, and go focus on finding 3.
Does your mindset reset?
Every single hour, I reset. Every single hour. And even more focused, I do this. So if I have 3 prospects per hour, I'm also looking for 1 transition every single hour. Why am I looking for 1 transition every hour?
Because you're getting into the houses.
Yeah, because if you're getting in 630 houses this summer, will you have a good summer?
Yeah.
630 houses, will you have a good summer?
Yeah.
You don't even have to be that good at selling to get the customers you want to have if you're in 630 houses.
Mm-hmm.
You could be a 10% closer, sell 63 accounts. Like 1 out of 10 houses you get in, sell 63 accounts and still make 25 grand.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of crazy, huh?
Yeah.
But what about this? Like if you don't get in 7 houses, can you make 8 sales?
No.
If you don't get in 2 houses, if you only get in 2 houses a day, can you make 3 sales?
No.
And you would not believe the number of people who frickin' tell me that. They're like, oh man, I'm frustrated. I can't have a 3-day. I'm like, great, you're only getting in 2 houses a day. No shit. So what happens during some of these periods for someone who's only getting in 2 or 3 houses a day? Are they working?
You get complacent.
They're getting complacent. Hey, I got a sale earlier. So you got a sale, and then this period you're just like walking around, wandering around, no big deal, whatever. And now all of a sudden this goal period shows up, and you've got an hour to go get 3, and now you've lost your momentum, you only get 1. And then you're like, oh man, I got to go get like 4, and then you blow your approach because you're trying to catch up because you were complacent earlier, and now you're not being present with those people. Do you guys understand why this is emotional?
This can
Mr. Swenson?
Thank you.
And this ties up to like what you said about time too, because like let's say you get like 3 prospects and like you have 10 minutes in this window and they're like whatever,
Mhm.
you keep going, right?
You keep
It's
going.
The same thing as the time.
Because I'm running. I am like I am. If I have to, I freaking sprint. Now let me ask you a question. If you're aiming for 3 every single hour and you're a bit uncomfortable, right? Let's say you're all of a sudden you're feeling like, oh man, everybody hates me. Do you think it might be scary to go find a prospect?
Mhm.
What might be more comfortable to find? What might be more comfortable, a homeowner or a renter? Why?
Because
Because you know they're gonna say no, but it's like
You're like, whatever. I'm just gonna waste 10 minutes talking to this renter
Yeah,
because
like,
why not? I'm gonna learn about my area. Bullshit. You're wasting time.
Mm-hmm.
Is this pretty simple?
Yeah.
People actually do that.
Is it, dude? You will.
One of my buddies.
90% of people will do it.
One of my
go to
buddies did it.
renters?
They'll go to a renter. They'll sit and talk to like a person who's home alone. They'll talk to like a college kid. Like I don't get it. I don't understand it because I'm not in the 90%. There's a reason I finished number 12 all time in my company. It's because this is how I freaking work. And when I say I'm going to go find 25 homeowners, I do everything I can do to find 25 homeowners. Now, if I don't find 25 homeowners, when's the only acceptable time to not find 25 homeowners?
When you're already selling.
For every sale you get, I'll let you subtract 5. So if you get 1 sale, you should have 1 sale and 20 contacts. If you have 2 sales, you should have 2 sales and 15 contacts. That's freaking it.
Doesn't matter if they wasted your time on the credit and they didn't sell. That's still 25, right?
That still counts as 1. Yep. Anybody who gives you an official no or a yes is a sales contact. We'll talk about that later. But yeah.
Okay.
You still waste
Sales
like an
contact.
hour.
So
and you said no
every-
still at
But
the
that
end.
was a contact.
Okay.
So
And that
throughout,
counts.
so throughout the 7 hours and 1 minute,
Correct.
we need either 25 definitive yeses or no's
Correct.
at the door.
Yes. Or in the house. At the door or in the house. Yep. That's what you're striving for.
And now that, like I said, I haven't done it before. That seems like a pretty attainable goal. Because every door I knock on, they're either going to say yes or no, right?
No, they're not. They're going to say, oh, it's a bad time. Can you come back later? Oh, my mom's not here right now. Oh, my wife's not here right now. My husband's not here right now.
Okay.
Can you come back tomorrow morning? Yeah, we'd like to sit down and talk about it a little bit more. Like, that shit's going to happen.
So they kind of just BS you to get you away for.
Or they're just legitimately not home. Catching 25 families, like husband and wives at home, is
Okay.
freaking tough.
Okay. I understand.
And you got to push. So last summer I had a day where I only had 8 sales contacts. Is that a good day?
Oh, no.
It was. I sold 5. That was a fun day.
Yeah.
That's an acceptable day, right?
Yeah.
Because I get to subtract 5 for every one. So technically, I didn't need to have any sales contacts that day. I had 8 sales contacts, 5 sales. That was a fun day. If I have 3 sales, how many sales contacts should I have beyond those 3 sales?
Beyond those 3,
Mhm.
10.
10. So I should have 13 sales contacts that day, bare minimum, if I'm going to have 3. And that's just the way the numbers work. So if you don't want to get 25 in a day, just sell more. That's it. But you got to be unconditionally committed to finding 3 every single freaking hour.
How'd you figure 25?
25? It's the magic number. It's just the magic number because it's more than 3. Like if I'm only doing 3 per hour, that could be kind of easy. But if I've got to get 3 or 4, I'm pushing. And I'm always trying to get that 4th. I'm always trying to find that 4th. And I'm sprinting if I have to. Because you got to have those numbers. Because again, fishing, if I'm casting 10 times and you're casting 25, who catches more fish? Every single time. So let's talk about this. What percentage of your summer do you think is going to be based on your acquired skill or just simply your effort?
10%.
Effort and skill,
So
50%.
time is 10%. Effort and skill, what's that?
10.
It's like, maybe
I
like,
think attitude
I'd say
is
another
the most
20. Let's give it another 20%.
20.
20% for effort and attitude, so you can write that down. So 20% of your summer is your effort or your skill and what you're learning. Because is this job technical or emotional? It's both, but majority emotional. It's about your attitude.
Mm-hmm.
So specifically, not just your attitude, but specifically your attitude towards time. So the last thing we're talking about is your attitude towards time. So you can write that down.
So this is 70%.
This is 70% of your summer is your attitude towards time. 70% of your summer, because there are 2 different attitudes we can have towards time. So let's say you've had your best day of the summer or your worst day of the summer, it doesn't really matter, and you've been out there working for 6 hours and 45 minutes, and you said, I'm going to work for 7 hours and 1 minute no matter what, Jake, 6 hours and 45 minutes, and you're committed. This is why the time, you're going to understand, this is why the time is not that important. Because if you say, Jay, I'm going to work 7 hours and 1 minute no matter what, and I have 15 minutes left, is it possible that I could still knock that day, but be wasting those 15 minutes? Continue to knock.
So we're talking about 7 hours and 1 minute of efficient working, not just bullshitting, like with knocking on doors, kind of, is that what we're getting at?
You're getting
Like,
closer, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, if you do that and he doesn't, you're going to kick his ass.
Yeah.
But if you don't do that and he does, he's going to kick your butt. Like, that's the idea, right? But 15 minutes left. You've been doing it for 6 hours and 45 minutes. You have 15 minutes left. What's the 2 attitudes we can have?
You're
Positive or negative?
complacent or like.
You can go, oh, God, I still have 15 minutes left, right?
Uh-huh.
Or, oh, God, I only got 15 minutes
Let's
left.
go.
Same words, different attitude.
So you want more of a sense
How
of
you say
urgency
it, not
towards you.
It's how you say it, not what you're saying, right? It's just like, boom, I only got 15 minutes left, I gotta go. Max last summer, it pissed me off. Like, I had to call him and like, it's midnight, stop knocking, get in my car. Like, I had to lock the doors and turn the child locks on one time so he couldn't get out of my car because he was that ferocious about getting out. It was a Saturday night at like 10 o'clock. It was inappropriate for him to be knocking at that point. But it was like, that's the fire that he had. He said, I am here. I only have a limited amount of time because once a day is over, can you go back and redo it?
No.
Once those 15 minutes are up, or can you go back and redo them? No, and if you waste them, do you get to go back and redo your summer?
No.
No, all you get to do is look back and go, man, I had a shitty summer. And then what's going to happen is like Rob said the other night in the meeting, every single person who doesn't hit the numbers they want to hit, he goes, well, did you put in the effort like I told you you would have to? And what do they say? They say no. And that's it. And the guys who look, you go, did you put in this kind of effort? They go, hell yeah. And that's why Max hit 117 accounts.
So emotionally, like you personally, like when you get down, because I know there's going to be points where him and I do, what do you tell yourself, or what do you do to like, shit, I have 15 minutes left, or like, dang, I only got 15 minutes left, like what do you do to get...
Do a power move. Start talking to yourself out loud. Call somebody. Call Peter. Just get something. Just freaking go. The answer to every problem is where? Where's the answer to every problem in this job?
With people above us?
No.
Within.
It's behind the next door.
On the next
The answer, I cannot tell you the number of times I've thought about sitting on a park bench and crying, and I knocked on the next door, and they bought from me, and they were one of the coolest families I've ever met in my life. I cannot tell you the number of times that this attitude towards time has saved me. Where I'm like, I don't know if I can do this all summer, but I know that I can work hard for another 15 minutes, and I can do this, and I can push just like Peter told me to, or just like Tim told me to, or like Josh told me to, or whoever it is, or Dalen, or Jake, or whatever word you're saying in your head, like whatever this person told me to do, I can go work that hard for another 15 minutes, and all of a sudden someone buys from you. And all of a sudden you went from $0 to $500 in your pocket. Does that change everything?
Yeah.
It shouldn't.
It should.
Your attitude should be the same no matter what, right? When I had 4 sales and it was $9.15, do you think I was like super excited to go to another house? Or do you think I was like, well, that was 4. That was pretty sick.
You're probably pumped to go to another one, try to get 5, right?
Right, but it was the same thing. I was like, oh shit, because I'd only had 2 contacts that hour. And I needed a third.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see how it's all working together?
Yeah,
And I hadn't worked 7 hours and 1 minute left. So when you hit 4 or 5, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a day, it's not because you're a great salesperson, it's because you're dedicated to what we're talking about right now. And the top salesperson in our company is not just going to be a 1 a day guy or a 1 every other day guy. That's the guy that gets out, he gets back-to-back sales to start his day, and it's 3 o'clock, and he goes, oh shit, I got to keep going, I only got 4 hours left, and I got to go get 3 transitions. Do you see the mentality in that? Is it simple? Is it easy?
No.
It's not
Does that
easy.
ever get in the way, like the way your thought process, if you're distracted on time, to like, okay, this guy, you don't know if this guy is gonna be a close or not, and you have to go out there, like to get more houses. You know what I'm saying?
If someone's wasting my time, I get paid $100 an hour and over $100 an hour to do this job. If someone's wasting my time, how do you think I feel?
Like just already like have a sense of urgency to try to get out of it.
Total sense of urgency. Because if I'm willing to just sit back and relax and hang out with them all day, what does that show them?
You don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
That it doesn't really matter
You're
to
the
me.
most serious.
But if I'm like, hey man, I gotta know, like I got a lot of people that I gotta see today, and it's my job to set up a lot of promotional houses in this area. Does this sound like something you'd even use? I think he goes, no. I'm like, cool, thank you, man. Hey, it was nice meeting you. Gotta go. Boom. Once I'm in the house, right? If I'm getting a bunch of objections back and a bunch of that kind of stuff, I'm gone because we're gonna talk about definitions next. So that last part, 70% of your summer. Any questions on this stuff so far? Does it all make sense? Is it pretty simple? Very
Grasp,
simple.
yeah.
Is it easy?
the concept is easy, but I mean,
It's not easy to do in
carrying
practice,
it out,
right?
yeah.
And you have to be committed to this stuff unconditionally. What does unconditionally mean?
all the time, every day, no matter what.
No matter what. What does unconditionally mean?
No matter what.
No matter what. Like you have to. Do you guys get why the 10% is hard to get into? Because it takes this kind of effort. And to me, here's the way I look at it. 6 hours, 8 hours, it's still a day, right? If you're going to be away from your friends and family this summer, what's the difference between 6 and 8 hours? Nothing. It's still a day, right? It's still a summer away from your family, so why not freaking work, right? So that's just the 3 technical pieces. So in order to understand, because you've been asking a lot of questions about like who qualifies as a prospect or what is working, so let's define these terms. So the first one I want you to define, we're going to define the word work. Work. Just work. What is work in our job?
Knocking on doors.
Great. So if I just walk through a neighborhood and I knock on every single door and I don't talk to anybody, was I working?
No.
So that's the wrong
Knock
answer.
on doors with the intent to sell.
Cool. So if I stand at one door all day and I knock and I have a really big intent to sell at that house and I'm only at that house all day, was I
Knock
working?
on as many doors as you can with the intent to serve as many people as you can in one day.
No,
Totally. I could just go to an apartment complex and just knock on as many doors with an intent to serve. But is that working?
No, knock on as many homeowners
We're getting closer.
as
So
you can.
okay.
you know.
So
one is
homeowners.
specific.
So
Not
what
like
am
an
I-
emotional.
What is work? What is the definition? This is going to be more technical, but we'll see how it's emotional. What is the definition of work in our job?
Sell accounts. I mean,
Cool. So if I go sell one, did I work that day?
sell the most.
Sell the most.
Sell is-
But there are days where I don't sell anything, but I'm still working. What's work?
Doing these 3 things, I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
Damn it. All right.
Good. So you guys don't. I'm going to ask you to work this summer. And you don't even know what that freaking means. Probably should define it, huh?
Yeah.
Probably should define it. And when I stand in front of the meeting and I go, "What's work?" You guys should be able to freaking repeat it right back to me. And everybody's gonna be like, "Huh?" And then they're gonna get scared because you're gonna kick their asses if you actually do it. People always ask me, "What's the key?" And I go, "I work 7 hours and 1 minute per day." I work. So what's the definition of work?
100% effort?
Great. I could put in 100% effort at one house. Was that work?
No.
So if you sell, can
Yes,
you technically
maybe.
be working?
You could be working without selling and working when selling.
Mm.
Work has nothing to do with actual sales.
Work has
Have
to-
you ever been to the library?
Yeah.
Or like studying? Like half studying, but also maybe on Facebook?
Yeah.
And then when your friends calls you, but you don't want to talk to them, you're like, "Yo, bro, I'm studying." Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
Are you really studying?
No.
So there's a difference between studying and studying, right?
Right.
There's a difference between work and work. What's work?
Focus, like complete focus. Like if you're doing that analogy, I would say complete focus on what you're doing and go at it with. I don't know. I keep mentioning intent, but it's not really.
It's not intent. I intend to.
Discipline,
work.
intent, and all that. But
To find the 20. I don't.
We're gonna go.
100%.
We'll go fishing again. I know now you've never been fishing, but you're gonna love this. You're gonna love it.
I'm gonna hate
right?
fishing.
When are you fishing? What is fishing? Like when are you fishing?
When your
Getting
hook is in
out
the
there.
water.
When your hook is in the water. What'd you say?
When you're out there doing it.
When you're out there? Okay, so if I'm sitting in my boat and my line is in the water and I just like fall asleep, am I fishing? So your definition doesn't work. What is fishing?
Catching fish.
Catching fish, great. So all I'm doing is catching fish, but once I catch the fish, I just set down my rod.
Catching fish and continually putting your line back in the water.
Okay, what is work?
Going.
Getting sales and continuously doing it afterwards.
Oh, you're so close! What is work?
Knocking on homeowners' doors and continuing to go to homeowners' doors.
Boom, he nailed it. So here's the work, the definition of work. Freaking with a prospect or on your way to see a prospect. That is it.
With a prospect or on your way to see a prospect.
That is it. With a prospect or on your way to see a prospect. That is it. For 7 hours and 1 minute every single day, unconditionally. What does unconditionally mean?
No matter what.
No matter what. All right. So, with a prospect or on the way to see a prospect. So, let's talk about this for a second, you guys, because what can get in the way of work? What can get in the way of work?
A lot of things.
What's that? Emotions, a lot of things, right? If you're sitting on a park bench, are you working?
No.
No. If you're sitting down reading a book about sales, are you working?
No.
Think about fishing, right? If you're baiting your hook, are you fishing? Like putting a worm on it, you're not fishing. If you're sitting,
You're
if you're
preparing
drinking
to
a beer,
fish,
you're
yeah.
preparing fish, but you're not freaking fishing. When do we prepare to fish or work?
Before we do it.
Before we start. And then once we get dropped off, I don't give a shit if you don't know your sales talk, if you don't know the difference between a door contact and a fucking motion sensor. You work for 7 hours and 1 minute that day, and you screw it up as royally as you can, and then you better ask questions that night. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
During the day is not the time to figure out what you're doing wrong. During the day is the time to go to the next door and just mess it up and just try to get better at every single house.
Okay.
You guys get me on that?
Yeah.
The best people in this job, I have seen so many people freaking ruined by overthinking it.
Really?
Here's what you do for 7 hours and 1 minute. You go to a homeowner, and then you go to the next one, and then you go to the next one. And that night, if it was a horrible day, I'll look at your stats and I'll know exactly how to train you.
Okay.
Here's how I don't know how to train you if you're not working.
Okay.
Right? If you show me your stats, Jay, and you come home, you're like, yeah, man, I was out there for 7 hours and 1 minute. I knocked on 30 doors. I talked to 15 homeowners, and I didn't get any sales. Let's say you were sitting on a bench for 4 hours. Can I train you? Like, I can't, because I'm going to look and be like, oh, dude, you're having trouble finding homeowners. No, you're not. You only work for 3 hours.
But with like the sitting on the bench, would that require us telling you we were sitting on a bench? Or
No,
would
do
you
you,
know?
do you think people are going to tell me? Do you think people are going to tell me?
No, but would
I
you-
would hope they would tell me. I'm never going to be mad at you for being honest, but they don't tell me.
Would you know based on? Because I've had like
No, but he'll train you differently. So like, let's say your stats said I did my 25, I did whatever. You can possibly do that in 4 hours.
You
But to
could do
him-
that in 4 hours.
To him,
Yeah.
he will train you differently if he knows that you did that for 7.
because I've had
Totally.
friends in the past who work here who last year sat on a park bench
Mm-hmm.
and then his stats probably came home and reflected that his ass sat on a park bench because I don't think he hit the 25 prospects or
Right. So if that happened, right, but he's not coming clean and going, hey, man, I'm sitting on a park bench. Is it okay to sit on a park bench?
no.
Not if you want to be successful, but should you tell someone if you did?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
it doesn't make you a bad person to screw up. But if you do it once, what are you likely to do again?
A second time.
And then it becomes
habit.
and then you spend the entire summer looking like a homeless person on a park bench, right? Like that's not good. But what if he had come to Peter or I or somebody and said, hey man, I'm really frustrated, I'm having a hard time, I'm sitting on a bench for 4 hours a day. Are we gonna train that guy different than if he goes, hey, here are my stats for the day, I worked 7 hours?
Absolutely.
Totally different. So this is the one you have to commit to no matter what, that you will work for 7 hours and 1 minute. Can you commit to that all summer? I can't teach you this the first day I meet you because I sound a little bit crazy. And I don't care if you don't like this. I don't care if you leave and you're like, wow, that was a little bit intense. 90% of people are going to think that. And they're going to go try to do it their own way. 10% are going to grab this. They're going to go, holy shit, I'm going to do exactly what Jake trained me and I'm going to go do it. And they're going to be one of the top people in the company. I guarantee it. I hands down freaking guarantee it. They may not be talented. They may not know their sales stuff. And if you know all that stuff, it's just icing on the cake. But chances are, if you work the way that I say to work, you're going to have a successful summer. Cool?
Yeah, I like that because I'm a structure guy. So I mean, it like you said, it sounds easier said than done.
Totally easier. Because what if you get thirsty? And your voice, you're like,
I would be like,
Drink
You're
some-
like-
get to that
Get to a
customer
homeowner.
service call to get us a glass of water.
So that's the in Tempe in the middle of March. It's so easy to say, oh, we'll just get a customer then. But when you're out there and it's hot and you're like, I probably just look like a freaking idiot. And there's a gas station 1 block away. What do we want to do?
I'm gonna try to get in the person's house.
Yeah, but there's a gas station right there. Now in your brain, can you work without going to the gas station? Think about it. Think about in the moment when it's emotional, it's hot, your voice is like, and you sound like an idiot. Nobody's letting you in because you feel like you sound like an idiot. Would it be more beneficial to just keep working and sound like an idiot, or go get a glass of water and then work more efficiently?
Go get a glass of water.
Go get a glass of water. So how many guys go to the gas station?
A lot.
90%, and then they don't hit their goals and they're pissed at me for it for some reason. But I'm telling you right now, that does not work. That does not work. And if you want to, because who has
Does
water?
it ever work like that though? Like, does it ever work like, oh, I'm gonna work more efficient if I do this for 10 minutes and then I'll put in the work? After?
No. I'll give you one asterisk way at the end.
Okay.
One asterisk.
Okay.
Okay? But right now we're not going to get there. Because who has water?
Homeowners.
Every door you knock on. Who has a granola bar?
Every home you know.
Every home you knock on.
So it gives me more.
Heck
incentive
yeah,
to
I'm
get
like, oh
inside
my
the
gosh, I
house.
forgot my lunch today. Can I buy a granola bar from you? And they go, oh, you don't have to buy it. Here you go.
It's crazy.
Dude, I knocked 14 hours a day. I forgot my lunches before. I've had days where I had like diarrhea and I didn't go to the gas station. I know it sounds crazy, but number 12 all time is kind of crazy too, right? That's kind of crazy. Making $50,000 selling books, kind of crazy. Making $100,000 in a year or in 4 months selling alarms, kind of crazy. Going to a house instead of a gas station to get water, kind of crazy. But that's what the successful guys do in this job. Do you guys get what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
We work. And what is work?
Either on your way to prospect or talking to one.
Cool. And we do that unconditionally. What does unconditionally mean?
No matter what.
How many hours a day do we work?
7.1.
No matter what. How many prospects are we aiming to find?
25.
Okay, so next definition, prospect. What is a prospect?
Prospect is a homeowner that either says yes or no to me.
Willing and open-minded to buy. Didn't we say that?
I gave him the answer. Willing and open-minded to make a buy. Cool. I'm willing and open-minded to buy, but I'm going to do that in 3 hours. Am I a prospect?
Can you repeat
Yeah.
that? Sorry.
I'm willing and able. He said willing and able to buy. So I'm willing and open-minded to buy, but it's going to take me 3 hours to make a decision. Am I a prospect?
You're not a good one.
Am I a prospect?
You are.
Because what if you stay 3 hours?
Well, we could
Ooh.
just set up an appointment later.
Yeah, but no, not in 3 hours. Like it's going to take me 3 hours for me to say yes.
Do I need to be there to babysit?
You need to be there. It's a 3-hour sale. That's how long I take to make decisions. You know what? I need to think about it. I'm willing and I'm able to make a decision, but I need to think about it until tomorrow. Am I a prospect? See how hard this is?
I would say
Yes, but
a
no.
shitty one.
I'd say yes, but you're
Hey,
wait.
Matt, I got a jet. Type that up.
Okay.
All right, and then we'll text and set up time next week.
Okay.
Think about this. Yeah. Defense? All right, so that's not a prospect. It's not, because if you stay for 3 hours, let's go fishing. All right, if you guys don't understand, we're going to go fishing again. I know you've never been fishing, but let's say this. So there's a bobber. You know what a bobber is? It's like a little, it's a little float, and it has a worm and a hook laying underneath it, and you
Is
cast
that
it out.
fluffy thing?
Whatever. You just cast it out and it hangs there, right? Okay, it just hangs there. It just hangs there and fish swim up and bite it. Let's say I cast out my bobber into 3 different areas over the course of a day, and I let it sit there for 3 hours each time. But you cast
You have
out
to
your
go to
bobber.
another one if it's not being efficient, right?
Yeah, well, is 3 hours? You just told me 3 hours. It might be efficient. What if there's a bunch of fish swimming around my hook right there,
No,
and I can see them in the water, and they're all swimming around, but none of them are biting it. But there's a bunch of fish there. Like it's probably a good place to leave my bobber. Maybe
I'm
one of them.
I'm gonna pull it out.
You're gonna pull it out
Recast.
and then throw it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Great. You guys, you've been dating before, right?
Yeah.
If a girl's not interested in the first 20 minutes, you sit and freaking like pound on it for 4 hours, or are you gonna go find a different person to talk to?
Absolutely.
You're gonna go find a different person to talk to, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how this job works. Here's my definition of a prospect. Someone who is willing and able, like you said, willing and able to make a decision. Because if they're willing to make a decision but they don't have any money, is that a good prospect?
No.
No, that's not even a prospect. If they have money but they're not the decision maker, is that a prospect?
Wait, can you repeat that? Sorry.
If I can, let's say I can, cool, I'm fine, man. I can make a decision in 20 minutes. I got money to do it, but my wife is going to kill me if I do. Am I a prospect?
Yes.
No, because
No,
I don't get to
because-
make the decision.
But he said he could make the decision.
No.
He totally did, but he can't because he's a
can't.
pussy. Because all guys are pussies. You got to have both couples there.
So someone who is
Both people there
so someone who is willing and able.
to make a decision in 90 minutes or less. That is it. Once it hits 90 minutes, man, if they haven't given me a yes,
You give them ultimatum, right? You just don't. Like,
I'm just
walk
go,
away.
yeah, no, yeah, I'm like, all right, peace out. No,
It's like,
after
yeah,
90
no,
minutes, I'm like, hey guys, to me it just sounds like maybe you're not going to use this.
You're not gonna get.
I mean,
value off of
is
it.
this something you guys are actually going to use, or am I just wasting your time? I'll just be that blunt. And if they go, no, we really are going to use it, we just need to figure out how to pay for it, I'll stay a little bit longer, right? But if they're going, yeah, you're right, we don't want it, I'm just going to leave. I'm going to jet. Because if you stay for 3 hours once, what are you more likely to do?
You're gonna-
Stay for 3 hours again.
Stay for
So
3 hours
what do
again.
you do? Like, what's the best thing to shake it off after you wasted time, like that?
I don't feel like an hour and a half is a waste of time because of that practice.
No.
Did I get better?
Mm.
Totally.
Do you try to at least get information about the neighborhood?
Totally. I'll ask them stuff like that. I'll
I mean,
learn a
if
lot
I-
about the neighborhood. I'll learn a lot about the family.
If
I
we're
might-
there for an hour and a half, I'm gonna
Right.
literally try
You're
to
gonna
talk
be-
about everything.
You're
under
going to
the
be
sun.
trying every different sales tactic you probably have in that hour and a half. Here's what's really hard: when you stay for 3 hours and they don't buy. How's that feel? How's that feel?
I'd feel
Because
like-
you walk out and now you've had 3 hours where you only had one sales contact and it wasn't a sale. So now you got to come home and tell me I only had 12 sales contacts this day. And I'm going to go, what happened? And you're
Yeah,
like,
I
I
saw
stayed
that.
in the house for 3 hours. And I'm going to slap you and go, do you not fucking remember what we talked about in Tempe?
Right?
Do you get it?
90 minutes.
90 minutes.
Cut it off.
Okay, now your first
Whoa.
week, one caveat, you guys, your first week, do you think you might be kind of retarded at filling out paperwork? Hopefully not, but it's possible. But if they've already said yes, and all it is just you trying to fill out the paperwork, stay for 3 hours if you have to. Call me, you guys. I'm okay with that. But if you're still pitching at the 90-minute mark, if you're still like, okay, and this is what we're gonna do for you, and they're just like, I just don't know, man. I just don't. Get the hell out of there. Cool.
Yeah.
Get out of there.
90 minutes.
Spend time with prospects. Is a renter a prospect?
No.
No.
Why? How long should you spend with a renter?
Zero.
So,
You guys own the house or rent it? We rent it. Cool.
Nice to
Don't
meet
you
you.
already know?
Boom. Sometimes, but sometimes you accidentally run into them, right? An old guy that's like, oh, my wife makes decisions. You're like, okay, cool. So how long you lived here, man? Are you with a prospect? At that
No.
point, no. Or so are you working?
No.
No. So now you're not working for 7 hours and 1 minute.
Okay, so there's gonna be times throughout our 7 hours and 1 minute where we knock on a door.
Yep.
That's not a prospect.
Correct.
That's incidentally.
Incident. So what should you do?
Go to the next house.
Get the hell out of there as fast as you can.
Okay, so we're not wasting the set because I mean,
Don't waste your 7 hours and
it's
1 minute.
because it's gonna happen to
Now,
where
if you're, let me explain this. If you're going to a house because you believe it's a prospect
Uh-huh.
and it turns out not to be, that's okay.
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 That's
But if
it.
you're going to a house and you're like, I don't even think they're home right now, but I just gotta make sure. You're wasting time.
See, like me and him are like he said, like it sounds easy, but like why the fuck would anyone do that?
Like, not do this.
Like, why would you
Because you get beat down and it gets hard, and you're like, I'm supposed to be with a prospect or on my way to see a prospect, but the last 4 prospects, like renters are way nicer than prospects. Poor people are way nicer than people who have money.
They're not gonna pay me anything.
Yeah, I know,
so-
but they're so much nicer. I just want to spend time with them.
Well,
I just
I mean-
maybe if I go spend time with like a renter for 5 minutes, like it'll boost my attitude.
It's like saying like when you're in the gym and you have 30 seconds between each set, and like in the last set I did bullshit reps, and then you're like, fuck, if I rest for another minute, then I can do more sets. After.
There you go. And our
That's-
brains do this, you guys. I'm not trying to combat you as people. I'm trying to combat the little dude that sits on your shoulder named Mr. Mediocrity, who's like yelling at you all the time, like, just take a break. Go get the water. Go talk to that renter. He'll make you feel better.
Yeah, and I know. Like me, I'm an emotional guy, so this is like huge. I know there's gonna be times, especially because you know it's my first time sales, first time doing door-to-door shit. Like there's gonna be times where I'm like, just, you know, I want to
You
do
go.
that.
Just go. You go to the next house. Because if you freaking stop once,
Just don't stop.
then you're going to do it again and it'll become a habit. If I don't do it once, I can't do it a second time and it won't become a
Is
habit.
there any way to practice that while you're here before we go out there?
Read this every single morning and get this attitude and unconditionally commit to it. What does unconditionally mean? No matter what. This means that, and here's the thing, guys, 90% of the guys on the team aren't going to do this, and they're going to look at you like you're stupid and you're silly. Trust me, it happens. I remember my first summer, people were like, oh, look at Jake over there, like little suck up Jake, kind of like outwork everybody and whatever, and I kicked everyone's ass.
So I mean, even if you're like mediocre, because I mean, I expect myself to be pretty good by the end of the summer at sales, but I've never done it before. So in the beginning,
It doesn't matter. Am I talking about sales?
No, exactly.
Can you do this?
Yeah,
Then
absolutely.
you'll be fantastic.
Okay, that was my question.
You will be fantastic.
That was my
I don't
question.
care if you should memorize. I'm not. This isn't like a get out of jail free card. Like, don't memorize your sales talk. Just show up and do this. Like, do everything you can to be ready for the summer. But when the summer comes, be unconditionally committed to this schedule.
Okay.
This emotional schedule that I'm talking about. Cool?
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
Here's the last thing. What work isn't? This is my last definition for you.
You screwed up your table.
I know,
over here.
I messed it up. So what work isn't? So what isn't work?
Talking to someone who's not a prospect.
Correct, but what's a more general definition of not
Like
work?
more broad? Or
What's a
just
broad? Yeah, what's a broad definition of what isn't work in our job? It's pretty simple. You're gonna laugh when you hear it.
Not knocking on doors.
No. Well, you're right. That's not work. But what isn't work? Give me just a one definition. I told you what work is. With a homeowner or on the way to see a homeowner or prospect. Excuse me. What isn't work?
Not going to a homeowner. And
So
not
here's
with
your
a prospect.
definition of what isn't work. What isn't work is anything that doesn't fit Jake's definition of work. Write it down.
Okay, that's easy.
Anything that doesn't fit my definition of work isn't fucking work. Excuse me for saying that, but that's just not. It's not. Write this down. WWJD. What would Jake do? And if I wouldn't do it, don't frickin' do it. Is calling your mom work?
No.
No, it's checking your Facebook work. Checking ESPN scores work.
Nope.
Guess how many people do that crap?
90%.
90%. I delete that crap from my phone. I delete my Facebook app. I delete my Sports Center app. I delete Bleacher Report. I delete all games. I downloaded a game last summer, and guess what happened? I'm not perfect, guys. I was frustrated. I pulled it out on the doors. Do you think I was mentally focused at that door?
No.
No, and I was like, crap, stop doing that, and I deleted it. Because I caught myself. But 11 years, it happens to me, right?
Yeah.
And I told Peter that night, I'm like, dude, I got frustrated, I downloaded a game. He's like, don't ever do that again. I'm like, okay. He's like, what did you tell me work is? I'm like, okay, you're right, I wasn't working. He's like, it's your definition, dipshit. I'm like, okay. So what work isn't is anything that isn't my definition of work. So we're gonna have a little bit of fun right here. You get to answer, I'm gonna point at you, and then you just have to answer this way. Okay, here's what you say. When I point at you, you say before work, after work, or on Sundays. Cool?
Before work, after work, and on Sundays.
Before work, after work, Sundays.
Okay. Ready? When do you study your sales talk?
Before work, after work, and on Sundays.
When do you go to the banks?
Before work, after work, and on Sundays.
When do you watch sports?
Before work, after work, and on Sundays.
When do you work out?
Before work, after work, and on Sundays.
When do you read motivational material?
Before work, after work, and on Sundays.
Okay, when do you buy new shoes?
Before work, after work, and on Sundays.
When do you text pictures to people?
Before work, after work, and on Sundays.
When do you do Instagram?
I don't have an Instagram, but if I did, before work, after work, or on Sundays.
When do you do Snapchats?
Before work, after work, and on Sundays.
Okay, do you guys get my point of this? When do you do anything other than work?
When you're not doing work.
When do you do anything other than work?
Before, after, on Sundays.
That is it. Cool? Here's your one asterisk. Ready?
Wait, hold on. Before
work, after work on Sunday. You guys, this mentality is crazy, you guys. This is why when I sold books, people ask, like, why are people who sold books so, like, crazy good at this job? Because here's my mentality, guys. I had a day, my first summer, where it was raining and it was downpouring and it was, like, freaking miserable, and I forgot my raincoat that day. And I was working literally a block away from Walmart. What do 90% of people do?
Go get a poncho.
What did I do?
Stay.
I worked in the rain, and it sucked. But do you think I ever forgot my raincoat again?
No.
Because when's the appropriate time to get a raincoat?
When it's
Before
raining.
work, after work, and on Sunday.
He wins, you lose. Before work, after work on Sunday. That's it. Because I forgot my freaking samples. I forgot, like, I used to carry around a 40-pound book bag with all these samples, and I forgot that one
I'll
day.
never forget that shit again.
I forgot that one day. Guess what I did that day? I sold ideas. I sold them hard. And I didn't sell anything that day, you guys, but did I ever forget my book bag again?
Nah.
Because if I'd have gone back home once, what would I have done twice?
Forget your shit again.
I could have forgot it again, and I would have gone home, and I would have learned that it's okay. Last summer, you guys, I wasn't in charge. I had a kid who forgot his stuff. I went home and got it for him. And then I realized, why did I do that? This summer, you're working with me, you forget your shit. I go, great, man, go sell ideas. High five. You're going to have an awesome summer. Is he ever going to forget his shit again?
Hell no.
No, because if I leave, because I'm going to have to leave by example this summer, right? So if I drop you off and I drive back to the apartments, am I working?
No.
And if I'm not working, can I ask you to work?
No.
Get it?
Yeah.
So after we have correlation this summer, after we have our meeting, don't go back to the apartments. Don't do it. You have everything you need ready to go at the apartment or at correlation. You have your lunch packed, your everything ready to go. You don't go back to your apartment because if you go back once,
Can I ask a quick technical question?
Yeah.
Are you out there with a backpack?
no, just an iPad. I mean, you can wear a backpack if you want. Some guys do.
Is that okay?
Yeah, so they have like water and stuff. With them.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
No, I'm
water
just saying
bottle
like with the
sandwich.
form, because like every time you do the approach, I never see like the forms and shit. Like where?
They're usually they go in my iPad case.
Okay. I was
But
like, where did
last
the
year I
form
wore
go?
like a little satchel. But anyway, so what work is it? Let me talk about one last thing.
Did you say your asterisk already? Or was
The
that
asterisk is just.
before?
Oh, sorry. The asterisk is. What work isn't anything that does not fit my definition of work, right?
Okay,
Here's your
yeah,
one
yeah.
asterisk.
Okay.
The only time you can do something other than work is if I say it's okay. The only time you can do something other than work during the day is if I say it's okay. If Jake or Pete says it's okay. That's it.
What would that be an example like?
Okay, you fall, you twist your ankle.
Okay.
What should you do?
Knock on door.
What should you do?
Call you.
Call you.
me. Thank you. You lay there and you call me. I want you to take it to that extreme. The champions will. They'll be laying there like, hey man, I just twisted my ankle. I'm going to another door right now. I feel pretty miserable. What should I? I'm like, dude, okay, go get, call an Uber or whatever. Go get your ankle looked at and get a bandage and then get back to work. Right? Hey man, I forgot my raincoat. There's a Walmart next door. I'll go, that's up to you, brother. That one's up to you. So the point is, if you ever, because I did that last summer. I called Peter.
Yeah, iPad and shit. Like, but
Right.
still.
I called Peter last summer. I was like, dude, I have shin splints so bad right now. I can barely walk. I like feel like I'm wincing. I'm moving very slow. He's like, go get a brace, man, right now. Just go. I'm like, all right, thank you. And I went and got one. Right? Hey man, I'm literally falling asleep right now. He's like, go grab a Red Bull, get back to work. Right? But I don't do that unless I get approval from somebody. I call Peter. I call Ryan Roach. Like, I don't make any decision about anything other than work, because if I'm making decisions in the moment, are those logical or emotional?
Emotional.
Emotional. So I'm going to call somebody who's logical to make the decision for me.
You're working though. Like I'm just saying, it won't be bugging the shit out of you if you have like 19 interns calling you every day with
First
shit
of all,
like that.
yeah. how many of those things do you think will come up this summer if you're working by my definition of work?
Not a lot.
Very few. The only people who'd get off schedule and have shit happen are the people who aren't working. Because spraining your ankle, really? Like,
How the fuck
how are you going to sprain your ankle in this job? The only way you're doing that is if you're like somewhere
running
else.
against the door, like
Right?
a dog or
Running
something?
it.
Like I had a guy one summer. He's like, yeah, dude, like I got my money stolen from me. I'm like, really? Your money was stolen from you? What happened? He's like, I don't know. It just happened on the doors. Bullshit. What happened? The guy was at a bar and he got beat up and someone took his thing. Now, if you're at a
What?
bar during the day, are you working?
No.
Oh, he's at a
No.
bar during the day.
I don't know. He got fired, but like he got fired. He's gone. He didn't work with us that long. But the point is, was he working?
No.
Bad shit happens when you're not working. Great stuff happens when you're working, so work. Here's my last note that I want to talk to you guys about real fast. It's the thing I'm by far the most passionate about, if I haven't been passionate enough for you. Your cell phones. There are only 4 times you're allowed to use your cell phone.
Call me to make shit.
Calling me,
Okay.
/ an experienced rep for help with a question, right? Calling Jake or a manager. Calling corporate to like do a setup call or to ask a question about a customer. Calling corporate. Number 3, calling Gina or whoever your office assistant is, your office manager. Or calling a technician. That is it. That is it. Other than that, your phone is a sales tool. You can use Spot Crime, right? You can show them the app on your phone, but do not use Facebook. Don't check your email. Don't send text to your family members. Like McKinsey knows, like first of all, this isn't a concentration camp. Like if McKinsey texts me and is like, yeah, right. So she texts me and she's like, hey, I have a very important question, emergency. I need to talk to you. She understands that I need to be working, right? But if she's sending me that text, it's important.
Right.
So I go, hey, can it wait for 4 hours, or do you need to talk now? Oh, we need to talk now. Like I'm not telling. Like if you are at any normal job in America, you're not using your cell phone. Most people do, and then eventually they get fired, right? So if you want to have an incredible, out of this world, awesome, fantastic summer, we're gonna break stuff. But if you guys want to have that kind of summer, do not use your cell phone for anything other than work during the day. Fair enough?
Yes. Fair enough.
Let me repeat that.
Can you just leave your personal phone?
You got to bring it with you so you can call corporate,
No, and then just have another phone.
like a track phone or something. Yeah,
But what,
you can do
let's
that.
say I got let's say we get there and I buy like a burner, a little Walmart phone that's straight up like one of those brick things.
Well,
that
you're gonna
goes-
want
show the app.
You're gonna want to have
Oh,
a
yeah, you're right.
smartphone. But I love your attitude about both of this. Let me just rephrase it this way. Don't fucking use your phones for anything other than work during the summer. Fair enough?
Yes.
The number one, you do it once. What are you going to do again?
Yeah.
Go play online poker.
Right? You do that once to fix your attitude. You're going to do it again. It's going to become a habit. You're going to, people call me and they're like, hey, my battery died on my phone today. What were they doing?
Playing games, talking to people, texting.
That's so fun for me when they're like, oh, I'm like, what happened, man? I couldn't get a hold of you today. Oh, my battery died. I'm like, cool, let's talk about what games you were playing today. Because a phone does not die unless you're playing games and watching Netflix. Like, it just doesn't. I'm sorry. I have a phone. My phone is twice the size of yours. It should die faster. It doesn't. Because I only use it for work. Cool?
Cool.
Don't use your phones. Except for work.
Except for like
For how long every day?
7 in 1 minute.
7 hours and 1 minute. What do we do for 7 hours and 1 minute?
More.
What's the definition of work?
Potential prospects. Are you seeing potential prospects, or are you either talking to potential prospects, or you're going to see another potential prospect?
What's a prospect?
Prospect is someone who's able and willing to buy in 90 minutes or less.
Or less. Guys, is this stuff pretty simple? Very simple, right?
Just seems like the work aspect.
Is
Putting
it
in
easy?
the work.
It's not easy. So this is the key. I can't stress this enough, and you got to remember this. I know you guys, you're going to want to compete. You're going to want to have a lot of fun this summer. But know this: if Jay is beating you this summer, if you're 3 months or 2 months in, and you're like, crap, Jay's beating me. Is he a better salesperson than you? Does he have magical words?
No.
What is the only answer for why he's beating you?
Outworking me.
He's doing this better than you are. If he's beating you, what's the only reason he's beating you? He's doing this better. Is it his area? Is it his coaching? Probably not, because I'm pretty freaking good, right? It's probably not his coaching, because Peter's pretty freaking good, right? Like, this is it. I can show you statistics after numbers after numbers after numbers of guys that I worked with who sold books that would sell, instead of 80 hours a week, they'd sell 82 hours a week, which is just a few extra minutes every single day. Because if you're committed to that extra 1 minute and someone lets you in, now all of a sudden you worked 9.5 hours that day, right? Or 8.5 hours that day. What if I drop you off at 12:30 and you go knock on doors right away, you run and knock to the first door at 12:31, right? Now you've got till 7:32 that you're going to be working till. You've got extra time there because you're unconditionally committed to getting that time in no matter what. So you're going to start as soon as I drop you off. You're not going to lollygag. You're not going to sit there. You're not going to read something motivational unless I tell you to, because that would be a coaching tool. Don't worry about coaching yourself. It's like, hey, Jake, I thought it would be a good idea to listen to my sales talk 3 times today. Did I tell you to do it? No, it's not a good idea. Cool?
Cool.
Any questions on this stuff?
No.
Can I count on you, Matt,
Yes.
to work and be on schedule this summer?
Yes.
Jay, can I count on you to work and be on schedule this summer?
Yes, sir.
Sweet. You guys are going to have an awesome summer.
I think we are.
Do this. And be a little bit weird. It's okay.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me, like I said, the mental aspect of it, like I think I'll be fine with everything. It's just the 70% work, staying focused,